Welcome back to another Rosso Gold Series video. I'm your host, Nelson Fu, and this is release number 8. It is natural, anaerobic Sidra from Finca Potosi. I've used this coffee this whole year in every competition that I've been a part of. It started off in the regional qualifiers of Canada, and then I used it in my cold designer drink in Milan for the World Coffee and Good Spirits Championship. And then I also used this coffee as my milk course at the National Canadian Barista Competition. This coffee is so insanely complex, and I think it's due to its processing method. I actually got to see this coffee's processing method firsthand earlier this year. Right after qualifiers, I had the opportunity to fly down to Colombia and visit Finca Potosi. But before I tell you the cocktail recipe that we'll be doing today, let's talk about the fermentation method. So this special fermentation method begins in open tanks as whole cherries for 20 hours, and then is transferred into sealed tanks for an anaerobic environment for 90 hours. Before the tanks are sealed, the mosto, so this is fermentation juice from a previous fermentation, is added into those tanks, and this kickstarts that fermentation process, leading with a large amount of lactic acid bacteria, which creates this insanely complex coffee. So back in qualifiers in May, this coffee had crisp red apple, it was green grape, there was some watermelon, it was very fruity and sweet. And then as this coffee aged, it transitioned more into still red apple, but it had like this very nice mineral quality to it. It reminded us of a cool climate Chardonnay. So I thought it was a great coffee to use in a cold designer drink. And that is the cocktail I'll be presenting today for you guys. All right, so this cocktail begins with a double shot of our Sidra. I have it right here. It's 21.5 grams in, 48 grams out in about 31 seconds. So we'll add that to our mixing shaker here. One double shot. 30 ml Tempo Dry Gin. So this gin is very citrus forward and for me, classic. So it's a great building block for this cocktail. Up next, 15 ml of Kome Dry Sake. Now because of that minerality we've tasted in the espresso, we're enhancing that minerality with this sake. Now, 15 ml of Antica formula. This is a medium sweet vermouth, lots of vanilla flavor and complexity. Now 15 ml Porteno Rum. This is a Colombian rum that's 15 years old for more sweetness. And finally, 30 ml of fresh pineapple juice. So that crisp, sweet acidity for our cocktail. And to bind them all together and create structure in our cocktail, I have a 5% saline solution and we add 0.5 ml. Now this drink, it needs to be ice cold. We're gonna shake this over ice. Fill your shaker full of ice and give it a shake. And then we're gonna double strain just for clarity and getting rid of all those ice chunks. In the second round of Coffee and Good Spirits, this was my cold designer beverage. My purpose behind this beverage is I wanted to enhance that crisp red apple acidity and sweetness, but also because of the Chardonnay flavor that was coming through, both in flavor and in tactile. It's something I wanted to enhance from this coffee, and that's how this cocktail was created. It has wonderful notes of red apple and clementine, but also that cool climate Chardonnay. So think of crisp, sweet, fresh acidity. And after talking about how delicious this drink is, I have one for me here and one for my cameraman. Cheers, everybody.